Yeah, my name is Waheed. I'm from Birmingham and I'm a writer and film director. Yeah, so for me, it was a film I made so that I could tell a story that is from my community because I very rarely see those on screen. The more I watch films, the less sort of I relate to the characters and the stories on screen. So I wanted to make a film that I'd like to go and watch as well, and that's telling stories from my community. And it was an independent film made with a very low budget, but it's done pretty well on the festival circuit, and it's won uh, Best UK Feature at Manchester Film Festival and Best Actor as well. And it's playing at doing a little cinema run at the minute. The biggest hardship is like getting support, and I don't mean like support from like the people who are around me in an immediate sense. I mean support from the organisations, like the big film industry organisations, like the BFI or Film For. You know, they don't really come into these smaller communities and search for the stories. So when you go to them with these stories, they don't really look at them with an open mind, it seems. It's very much sort of like who has a track record in order for us to back. So it's difficult to get backing, especially from the bigger film industry organizations. Regardless of that, I didn't let that stop me, and I would have made the film by any means necessary. You know, even if it was just like a two-man crew or if it was just myself, I would have gone out and made it anyway. So the biggest hardship is getting the backing and the support, I feel. Actually going out and making your film. I mean, it's difficult, but that's just what you have to do sometimes. If you really have a story to tell, you're really passionate about that, you know, you'll tell it by any means necessary. So I never found actually making a film the most difficult aspect of filmmaking, because for me it was a case of I have a story to tell and I'm going to tell it no matter what, regardless of the support I get or don't get. I'm gonna make this film and tell my story. I mean, well, this film of God's Men, for instance, made this film on a £10,000 budget. There was a crew of like four of us or five of us, you know, a small cast, and we made the film because we just believed in the story. We didn't expect it to sort of have the success it has had, and the success I'm talking about is getting into big festivals like Manchester International Film Festival, UK Asian Film Festival, and then on top of that, also winning awards at these festivals. Like at Manchester, it won Best UK Feature Film, and the actor Hamza, he won Best Actor as well. And we beat out films that were made on like budgets with like hundreds of thousands of pounds. Maybe some films were probably made with budgets of over 1 million, and then this small film made on £10,000 in like 12 days went and beat those films. And the people who were judging the films as well, you know, they were very credible. Like they came from like Curzon and Film 4 and Total Film, and the fact that they gave the film the credit they felt it deserved is an achievement in itself as well. I don't know. It's like I was always into sort of like writing and say music, and then as I got older, I found that film was the perfect mix for all these sort of different, you know, these different forms of creativity, like music and writing, for instance. And picking up a camera, I just felt it's for me it was a different way of telling a story rather than just putting pen to paper. So I just picked up a camera and I just shoot whether it was short films or whatever it was, and from that I sort of started understanding that how I can use the camera to tell a story in a more effective and immersive way than just writing on a piece of paper or picking up an instrument and writing a song. So that's kind of what got me into filmmaking. But I mean, it wasn't like I always wanted to be a filmmaker from a young age. It was just a case of sort of all the things I was doing led up to that. For me, it would be to actually make another feature film, get some kind of industry backing as well, to get some kind of, to basically open eyes within the industry and get them to see that there are smaller communities like the community I'm from and filmmakers who want to tell these stories who don't necessarily have the support who don't necessarily have the support that other filmmakers might have. And my biggest goal is to get eyes on the smaller communities and the filmmakers who are very sort of underrepresented. For me, I want to tell that stories from underrepresented backgrounds, and I'd like to, in 5 years' time, to be in a situation or be in a place where I can open up the eyes of the film industry to the smaller stories that are not being told. A, getting my stories out there, but B, it's like if I'm not going to tell my stories, no one else is. That's, yeah, for me, that's the biggest motivation. I could sit around all day, I can sit around for years and just have this story in my head, but no one is ever going to hear the story. So what motivates me is if I have to get up and I have to go and I have to tell that story, I have to go out there, I have to make this film and I have to show it to people, because no one else is going to. And if I'm not going to do it, then someone else is going to be telling their story. And in that same amount of time, I could have told my story. So that's what motivates me. I know, it's probably not as glamorous as you might think, but for me, it's a case of I just do what I have to do in order to get my story out there, my stories, I should say, out there. My biggest advice is just to go out and just make your film. And I know a lot of people say, well, what does that mean? What does it mean? Just go out and make your film. And that's exactly what it is. If you've got a script, just and you can't finish it, just go finish it. Once you finish it, find some actors. If you haven't got a camera, you got a mobile phone, go and film. There's no excuse to not make a feature film in this day and age. Feature films are the new short films. Okay, everyone can make a feature film. You can edit it on your laptop. So my biggest advice would be to finish your script if you've got a script and just go out and don't wait for permission, because that's the worst thing we can do, is sit around waiting for someone to say, oh, here's $500,000, go tell your story, because that phone call's never coming. Not that knock on the door's never coming. You got to go and tell your own stories in your own way. That would be my biggest advice, is to not wait for the right opportunity. Don't wait for the right moment, because they're never coming. You got to make those right moments and those right opportunities by getting up and actually just doing what it is that you want to do. Don't do it for anyone else. Do it for yourself. And like I said, don't wait for anyone to come to you, because no one's going to come to you. So yeah, it's all about just going out there and doing it. I'm going to make this film by hook or by crook. And that's what you got to do. That's what you got to think, is like, I'm going to make this film no matter what. No one's going to stop me from making it. No one's going to get in my way. And if they do, then I'm going to find a way around it. And that was always the attitude that I had, and then the attitude that the cast and the crew also sort of took on as well. So in terms of motivation, that would be it for me, is go out there, make your films by any means necessary. If you got to steal a shot, steal a shot. If you got to just beg someone to be in the film, beg, whatever you got to do, just make your film by hook or by crook.